Right, so what about for people that don't have their own treadmill or don't have access to a treadmill or simply don't want to run on a treadmill? Well, in those cases, I would say there's probably three other sensible surfaces that I would try shoeless running on. One would be obviously good quality grass. Obviously the main danger of doing shoeless running outside is obviously injury to the foot, cutting your foot on glass, tins, any other nails, anything, which obviously you don't want. I mean, you don't want to be getting increased injuries from accidentally in that way. So if you're choosing grass, then obviously it needs to be safe grass where you're pretty sure there's no debris that could cut the foot. Secondly, I would try, if possible, hard sand, obviously typically on a beach if you've got access to that. Thirdly, failing that, I would say smooth asphalt or tarmac, where you've got a firm but very slightly forgiving surface, which would be quite useful to try this on. Coming back to protecting the feet, if you don't want to, I mentioned wearing socks on the treadmill, which is what I do. But if you don't want, obviously if you're outside, you don't want to wear socks and you actually do want to go literally barefoot, you probably need to consider some sort of protection, as I said, even just for the point of view of abrasion for the feet. And for that you could consider putting some sort of plaster on the feet. Once you've done it for even just a few minutes, you'll soon see where the hot spots are occurring. And then you could literally just pre-tape them with there's a whole range of foot tapes you can get now, and yes, consider pre-taping your feet in the areas that tend to get hot spots. So that's one alternative. An intermediate step, especially nowadays, is there's now a wide range of minimalist footwear that you could try, which are literally just like covers for your feet. Really, they slip onto your feet. Some have individual sections for each toe, and you slip them on, and it's almost just like a form of protection around your foot with no padding or anything else. So that's like almost like a halfway house between completely bare feet and just having something on your foot just for the sake of safety and to toughen your feet. So having tried this, and once you've had a go at barefoot running, whichever way you've decided to do it, if you do notice a huge difference in the way that you run with shoes and without shoes, I think you really need to consider your running technique, and that's probably telling you that when you've got shoes on, you're not running in a natural manner. Because the whole point is that if you're running naturally, and if you like correctly with good technique, you can really wear almost any shoes that you want within limits, because you still run correctly. I mean, I always like to think of the Kenyans. When I've read a lot of the books about the Kenyans and how they develop and how they train, and yes, they all start out in life barefoot, running, walking, just living barefoot. But how many world records are set barefoot nowadays? Well, virtually none. And that's because they're strong enough. They've learned correct and natural technique. So you can put almost any light shoe on their foot you want, and their technique will stay good and correct and natural. And that's what we should all be aiming for.